Buzz. Buzz is a word that means, in slang terminology or improper English, no, it's not the sound that the bees and other flies make when, you're very agitated and it's summertime and you hear bzzz. No. Buzz means to shave your head. It's a type of haircut, and I guess you can say that the buzz cut became popular in the naval guards and, army and whatnot. They have to, get a buzz cut. In other words, shave their head. Next, digits. If someone says, "Hey, what are your digits?" I'll put them in my phone. Digits is improper English for numbers. Someone is asking for your telephone number. One of the most common used today is flex. Flex is the demonstration of extending one's arm and or any other muscular body part to show its strength. So flexing is basically showing off or to show something. Okay, next. Trying to think of some other ones. Forgive me for the pause. Okay. If someone tells you, "Hey, get a grip." Grip, no, they're not telling you to go and grasp something or to grab onto something and, clench it in your hand. No, they're telling you to basically, get yourself in check. So get a grip means to come back to reality. Maybe you were having a moment and they told you this as a way to get you to calm down. Next, another one is ghost. "Hey, you went ghost on me the other day. What happened?" No, you didn't leave your body and descend into the air and these white, clouds came out, and then next thing everyone, I just had to do that. No, not that type of ghost. Ghost just simply means that you disappeared. I didn't know where you went. No one heard from you. You went MIA. MIA is an abbreviation for missing in action. Okay, next. Green. You were totally green. Or, "Hey, you're going green." To go green is not to paint yourself. And no, we're not talking about Michigan State. This has nothing to do with football or traffic lights. This has everything to do with being ecologically responsible. It can revolve with greenhouse gases and just the economy in general. You're finding ways to go green, to save money, to stop pollution in the atmosphere. That's one form of, going green, obviously, or being green. And the next terminology of green could be you didn't catch on as quickly. Like, "Oh man, you're green," which means that you're not hip or aware to what's going on. Okay? Next. Slang expressions. Yes. People use those. It's also a form of improper English. So we're going to look at some common slang expressions, and I'll tell you what they mean. So someone came to you and said, hey, you know what? They're just coming and going, in and out of my life. And you say, who? And you're like, my friends. People are like a dime a dozen. And you're like, people are like a dime a dozen. How can people be compared to a materialistic thing which has not the same substance as a human being? No, they're not saying that people are actually like materialistic money. They're basically saying that there's a lot of people like that one particular thing. So everybody can be grouped in that one thing. So people are like a dime a dozen could mean, yeah, people are all the same. So yeah. Another slang phrase would be, soon you'll be back on your feet. But you're already on your feet. Obviously, you're standing at this exact same moment as we're speaking. That simply means that, maybe you're having a rough time in your life and someone is basically encouraging you that you'll recover from whatever it is that you're going through. So, soon you'll be back on your feet is another way of saying, hey, things eventually work out. Next, another one. Hear this one at work a lot. Let's call it a day. Obviously, it is a day. Yeah. But let's call it a day simply means let's wrap this up. We're done here. We can stop working. So let's call it a day means let's stop working. Next. My efforts fell short. Now, this simply means that one's effort, whosever effort it is, it was not good enough. It fell short. It missed the mark. It didn't cross the finish line. Simply meaning that whatever they were setting out to do, they failed. Next, if someone comes up to you and say, hey, just go with the flow. Go with the flow just means to accept things as they are. Basically, to get over it. Someone's telling you to get over it. Next, you need to lighten up a bit. I'm sure everyone has probably heard this form of improper English, this slang expression. Lighten up a bit just simply means to relax. Next, let's say you're in university and you're taking a test and something's difficult for you, but the student next to you is just like breezing through it. And you're like, man, I'm not sure if I passed that chemistry test. And the other dude next to you is like, that test? It was a piece of cake. And you're like, no, it was a hard test. No, they're not actually saying it was a piece of cake. No. There's nothing sweet about taking a test. It's always requires so much studying and so much patience and effort put into, the time to invest, not only your finance, but also your mental strategy and, time-consuming attention focused into your course. But anyways, not trying to get off course. Literally, good pun there too. Piece of cake just simply means that something was easy. Okay? Someone tells you, hey, you're looking to buy something, and someone tells you, It's still up for grabs. What up for grabs means is that it's still available. It's open for you to take it. Okay, next one. Let's say you get into a disagreement with someone and they said, "What you said rubbed me the wrong way." Your words do not have the power to physically touch someone, but they do have the power to affect someone. Just as we mentioned, language is very powerful. Rub someone the wrong way simply means that it bothers them. So if you rub someone the wrong way with what you said, it means that you bothered them with what you said. Last but not least, let's say you get into a bit of trouble and someone says, "Oh, you're in the doghouse now." And you look at them and you're confused and say, "What is the doghouse? How did I get there?" That slang expression means that you're in trouble. Wherever trouble is, or whatever the situation is, that you're in trouble. So, yeah, we're gonna go ahead and cross off our improper English. Next, I think we should move on to our idioms. But before we start, we're going to look up the definition of idioms for those who don't know. Okay, 1 second. Google, give me the definition of an idiom. Okay, we have it. Idiom is a group of words established by usage as having a meaning not deductible from those of the individual words. So in other words, it's a characteristic that the original meaning has nothing to do with the word in general. Such as, one of the most common one is, "Hey, it's raining cats and dogs." And no, it's not actually raining cats and dogs. It just means that it's raining very hard. If you think about it, how many cats and dogs are in the world? And if you put them all together and they started falling from the sky, that's gonna hit hard. So, yeah. We're going to look at some more examples of idioms. And then we're going to examine their meanings. Okay, so first on our list of idioms is a blessing in disguise. And what that means is a good thing that seemed bad at first. So it's kind of like going to a party and there's a present wrapped up for the individual who's being celebrated. And let's say it was terrible wrapping paper and you got the impression, "Oh, this is one of the worst gifts ever." And then you open up the box and you find out maybe it was a new telephone or something that you always needed. It's a blessing in disguise. Or basically, it turned out to be a good thing even though it seemed to be bad at first. Next, another idiom phrase, beat around the bush. Hey, You're beating around the bush. Beating around the bush means to avoid saying what you really mean because it's usually uncomfortable. This happens in conversations where people don't want to step on the other person's toes. And that's also slang. That's a slang expression. I don't want to step on your toes, which simply means that I don't want to hurt your feelings, or I don't want to get in the way of anything that concerns you. So, beat around the bush. People do this in conversations where they generally don't want to be honest or tell the truth about something, or they're not sure how to say it without causing some type of reaction. Okay? Next, better late than never. Oh my gosh, I used to say this all the time. But being on time is definitely very important. Oh my goodness. But better late than never means better to arrive late than to not come at all. This is so true with birthday parties, or any type of celebration in which you or someone else is being honored. Your attendance or your presence is important, to have than not have it all. Even if it's, you expected them at a certain time and they didn't show up, they would say, better late than never. Which means, hey, you're late, but at least you made it. Okay, next. Break a leg. This is commonly used in sports here. Because, we go all out with our sports. Basketball, football, volleyball, soccer, hockey, oh my goodness, so many others, tennis, everything. So many dedicated players to their craft. But break a leg is not someone telling you to go and hurt yourself. It means good luck. Or they're wishing you luck for whatever you're going to do. Basically putting your all. Give it your best effort. Another one. Let's say you're giving someone a critique or advice, and they say, hey, cut me some slack. Cut me some slack means don't be so critical, or don't be so harsh on me. Hey, it's basically them saying, hey, I'm human, I make mistakes. Show me a little grace, or, have a little bit of patience with me. Next, another, idiom is someone says, easy does it. I've heard this once in my life where a man was walking a dog and he says, easy does it. It simply means to slow down. Slow down. Okay? Cutting corners. Yes, there are a lot of people who cut a lot of corners. Cutting corners means to take the shortcut or the easy way out. It's doing something poorly in order to save time or money. A lot of people seek to ascertain or get to a certain level, in their career or in life in general, and they try and cut corners. And so it's important to do the job great the first time, otherwise, you'll have that those cracks in the foundation.